Do you know the story of the king who committed adultery, slept with another man's wife, and then had that man killed to cover it up? This is not a rumor. This is not a legend passed down and exaggerated over time. This is a story recorded in the Bible itself. At the height of his power, King David was admired by his people, feared by his enemies, and favored by God. He was the warrior who defeated giants, the poet who wrote songs of worship, the king who united a nation. But power has a way of dulling restraint, and comfort has a way of inviting temptation. It was spring, the season when kings usually went out to war, yet David stayed behind in Jerusalem while his army fought on his behalf. One evening, as the city settled into silence, David walked along the rooftop of his palace, elevated above every home, every street, every life beneath him. From that high place he saw a woman bathing. She did not know she was being watched. She did not know that the king's eyes had fixed on her. Her name was Bathsheba. David asked about her, and the answer should have ended the moment. She was married. Her husband, Uriah, was one of David's most loyal soldiers, a man currently risking his life in battle for the very king who now desired his wife. But desire, once invited, rarely listens to reason. David sent for Bathsheba, and that night, what began as a glance became a sin that would echo through generations. When Bathsheba returned home, David likely believed the moment would fade into secrecy. Kings were used to getting what they wanted without consequence. But weeks later, the message came that shattered that illusion. She was pregnant. Now the secret demanded a solution. David did not confess. He calculated. He summoned Uriah home from the battlefield, welcoming him with warmth and gratitude, asking about the war as if nothing were wrong. Then David urged him to go home, to rest, to enjoy the company of his wife. The plan was simple. If Uriah slept with Bathsheba, the child would appear to be his, and the king's sin would disappear into plausible doubt. But Uriah refused. While his fellow soldiers slept in tents, while the ark of God remained in the field, Uriah would not take comfort while others sacrificed. He slept at the palace gate instead of his own bed. David tried again the next night, even getting Uriah drunk, hoping his resolve would weaken. It didn't. Uriah remained loyal, disciplined, and righteous, and in that moment, David stood exposed. The man he was trying to deceive was more honorable than the king himself. Cornered and desperate, David made a decision darker than adultery. He wrote a letter and sealed it with the authority of the crown. Then he handed it to Uriah, unknowingly asking the man to carry his own death warrant back to the battlefield. The letter commanded the army's commander to place Uriah at the front lines where the fighting was fiercest, and then to pull back, leaving him alone. The order was carried out. Uriah was struck down in battle. When word reached Jerusalem, Bathsheba mourned her husband. After her time of grief, David took her into his palace as his wife. To the outside world, the story appeared clean: a fallen soldier, a grieving widow, a merciful king. But nothing was hidden from God. The Lord sent the prophet Nathan to confront David, and Nathan did not come with accusations. He came with a story. He told of a rich man with many flocks, and a poor man who owned only one little lamb, a lamb he raised, fed, and loved like a daughter. When a traveler came to the rich man, instead of taking from his abundance, he stole the poor man's lamb and slaughtered it. David burned with anger. "That man deserves to die," he declared. Nathan looked directly at the king and spoke words that cut through every layer of self-deception. "You are that man." In that instant, David saw himself clearly, not as a hero, not as a chosen king, but as a man who abused power, betrayed loyalty, and took an innocent life to protect his image. David confessed. He wept. He repented. And though God forgave him, the consequences of his actions did not vanish. The child born from David and Bathsheba would die. Violence would rise within David's own household. Betrayal and bloodshed would follow him for the rest of his reign. David remained king, but the weight of what he had done never left him. This is not just a story about adultery. It is a warning about what happens when power goes unchecked, when desire outruns conscience, and when a man believes his position places him above accountability. The greatest fall in David's life did not come from an enemy, a sword, or a giantess challenge. It came from a quiet rooftop, a wandering gaze, and a choice he thought no one would ever see.